why a playbook, you ask? Because the one we were handed really doesn't fit us. It wasn't made for us. It's like putting on a suit that was tailored for somebody else, like fat guy in a little coat kind of thing. Welcome back, friends. This is #ActuallyICan. I'm Katie Ripp, and this is Season 2. Last season, we talked about everything, and to everyone, about all the ways we're trying to build life and business on our own terms. This season, we're diving a little bit deeper into the women's playbook. We're talking about those old rules we were handed. We're going to toss them out and write new ones that actually work for us. We're talking about quitting the grind, claiming our worth, celebrating wins that actually matter, and leaning into community instead of competition. Around here, we believe that the best businesses, and lives for that matter, aren't built alone. So grab your coffee, pull up a chair, and let's go. Hey guys, welcome back. If you've been here since Season 1, thank you so much for returning. And if you're new here, I'm so glad you found your way in. Think of this podcast like pulling up a chair in my kitchen. We're going to have some coffee in hand. Certainly we'll have some dogs making noise in the background and a lot of hair. And a real conversation about what it means to actually build something on your own terms and living a life that you actually love. Because what's the point otherwise? Last season was really about opening the door to conversation at all. It was my first season. I learned so much. And if you are a guest of mine, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time and energy out. We touched on a little bit of everything: money, time, energy, community, body image, diet, death, burnout, inspiration, a little bit of everything, really. This season, I want to take all of that and go just a little bit deeper, more focused, a little bit more intentional, and we're going to go rule by rule through the woman's playbook. One by one, we're going to dismantle some old limiting beliefs or outdated business law, and we're going to write a new one together. And why a playbook, you ask? Because the one we were handed really doesn't fit us. It wasn't made for us. It's like putting on a suit that was tailored for somebody else, like fat guy in a little coat kind of thing. It's stiff and uncomfortable and made for a body that isn't yours. And then being told, well, if you can't fit into this, then you're the problem. Let's mold yourself to get into this thing and fit into this box. Well, I say, fuck no, let's not. The suit actually just does not fit. The rules do not work for us. So it's time to write a new playbook that actually feels like it belongs to us. It was written for us and by us. By the end of this 12-week season, you're going to have your own set of rules. Not the ones you inherited, not the ones you feel pressured to follow, but the ones you've chosen for yourself. And that is super powerful. Let me tell you a little bit about how I realized that this old playbook doesn't work. I honestly was following all the rules. I was grinding as hard as I could. I was working longer hours. I didn't talk about money. And whatever you do, keep it professional, keep it shiny, keep it neutral. Don't rock the boat. And from the outside, it actually did look like it was working. I had a couple of businesses. I was working actually full-time for someone else. I had success on paper. I had the dogs and the kids and the husband and the house and all the things, the cars, all the things. But the inside told a totally different story. I was exhausted. I was second-guessing myself at every single turn, and I was really disconnected from my own joy. There actually wasn't any joy. What I thought was joy was actually just emptiness at the bottom of a wine bottle. And there was one day that really sticks out to me. I had just finished back-to-back meetings. I was hustling between the coffee shop and home and the wine bar. I was saying yes to every opportunity because that's what the rule book said to do. Say yes, work harder, push through. I came home and sat in the driveway and thought, why does this feel so empty? I had everything the old playbook told me I should want. I had checked all the boxes, but I really did not feel fulfilled. I felt completely trapped and alone and super lonely and quite miserable, actually. And then I realized I'm actually not for everyone. There are 8 billion people in the world. I am never going to please them all. And actually, the more I tried, the more I actually dulled myself down. I wasn't building a life that reflected me at all. I was building one that reflected the rules. And that's when it really hit me. I didn't need to keep playing by the rules that were never written for me in the first place. So what does that exactly mean? What is this old rule book I speak of? And where did these rules come from? The truth is, they were written in boardrooms decades ago by men in gray suits who had wives at home and secretaries running interference and systems built to support them and only them. And they were able to grind harder. They were able to keep their emotions out of the room. They were able to compete with the person next to them. They never showed any weakness. Any of this sound familiar? These rules were not designed with women in mind. Certainly not women balancing creativity and leadership and motherhood and partnership and health and the cycles of energy that come with all of that. And yet, these are the standards we've been measured against for decades. No wonder so many of us feel like we're failing. We aren't failing at business. The old playbook is failing us. Just like that suit. If you don't fit into the suit, change the suit, not yourself. And I really do see this everywhere. In my coaching clients, inside the Grove, in conversations with friends, women saying, I just need to hustle harder, or I feel guilty charging that much, or I should be able to figure this out on my own. Those aren't truths. Those are old rules whispering in our ears. So what do we do instead? That's where I come in. That's where the women's playbook comes in. This isn't a one-size-fits-all strategy, I promise you that. This is about rewriting the rules around what actually matters, your values, something you can actually sustain through the rest of your life, community, and who you authentically are in your soul. Over the next 12 weeks, we're going to talk about what it looks like to throw out the grind culture and build businesses that don't burn us out. We're going to unpack why we've been taught to play small and how to step fully into our worth. We're also going to talk openly about money. I know, it's not the most comfortable thing, but that's because we've been told it's not comfortable. We're going to use our humanity as a superpower, not something that we have to shove down. And we're going to talk about the myth of competition and why vulnerability is actually leadership. Let me give you a little bit of a sneak peek. On the next episode, we're going to tackle the grind or die rule. That's the voice that says, if you're not hustling, you're falling behind. Spoiler, that is a fucking lie. Later this season, we are going to talk about the don't talk about money rule and also the competition rule. And then we're going to end the season pulling it all together in a new vision for what business might look like when women rewrite the rules. This isn't about me handing you a manual. This is about you walking away with your own playbook written by you for you. At the end of every episode, I want to give you a practical takeaway. So here's what I want you to sit with this week. What old rule of business have I been carrying that doesn't actually work for me? Now, this can be if you own your own business or you are just a professional woman. These rules of business are made for all types of industries, not just entrepreneurship. So again, what old rule of business have I been carrying around that doesn't actually work for me anymore? Write it down. Say it out loud. Maybe journal on it. Or text a friend and say, you know what rule I'm really done with? This one. For me, the first rule I ditched was don't talk about money. I started saying my prices out loud. I started talking about my worth and my value. And every time I did, it got a little bit easier. Maybe for you, it's grind harder or keep it professional at all costs. Whatever it is, name it. Because once you see it, you can start rewriting it. And if you're thinking, except I don't know what the rules are, just wait. I'm going to help you with that. Don't worry. I'm going to put all of this in the show notes, and there are a couple of blog posts that are going to list the rules out for you so you can see what's coming. All right, friends, that's our kickoff to season 2. Today was really about setting the stage, why the old playbook does not work for us, and why it's time to start writing a new one together. You do not have to do this alone, I promise you that. This podcast is just the beginning, and the Grove is where we take these conversations and put them into practice in real time, alongside other women who are building boldly too. If you're craving that kind of support, come join us. The link's in the show notes, and there's a 7-day free trial, so you can just check it out and poke around. And if today's episode sparks something for you, share it with a friend who's rewriting her own rules too. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's next. Until next time, keep rewriting the rules, keep celebrating your wins, and keep reminding yourself, actually, you can. That's it for today's episode of #ActuallyICan. If something in this conversation hit home today, send it to a friend who's writing her own playbook too. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's next. And if you want a community where these conversations turn into actual support, come hang out with us in the Grove. The link's in the show notes. Until next time, keep rewriting those rules, keep celebrating your wins, and keep reminding yourself, actually, you can.